Quick hints here on questions 20 through 25 on your Chapter 4 practice test. I'm just going to give you some hints. I'm not going to show you exactly how to do them. This should be a little bit of a review. Number 20, you're trying to use the intermediate value theorem. What does the intermediate value theorem tell us? It tells us that if we're looking at one x value, it should be negative, and the other x value should be positive, and then somewhere in between those two x values, it'll be 0. That's what we're told. So you need to put in -1, 0, 1, -5, -4, -6 in, and see if you get positive and negative values. If it does not contain a real 0, that means both of those values would be negative or both of those values would be positive. Number 21, determine whether the function is even, odd, or neither. So to do that, you put in -x in everywhere you see an x, and then evaluate the sign, whether it's positive or negative. If it's an even function, all the signs would stay the same, like this is positive and that's positive, so those would both be positive. If it was odd, all the signs would change, so these are both positive, they would both be negative. If it was neither, that means it's neither case, maybe one of them is positive, one is negative. Number 22, rationalize the denominator of the expression and simplify the answer. Again, to rationalize a denominator, you need to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. What's the conjugate of this right here? That's a square root of x minus the square root of 11. And you would multiply it. Oops. Multiply both sides. Both the top and the bottom, not both sides. The top and the bottom. Again, you get the difference of two squares there because of one of them, they're the same term. One's a plus, one's a minus. And you would distribute the top. Okay, number 23, solve. You have two radicals on one side. The first thing you need to do is to isolate one of the radicals. I would move this plus root x, I would move it over. Excuse me. Right there. And then I would square both sides. You need to FOIL this right here. That's going to be 4 minus root x times 4 minus root x once you square it. And you're going to have to isolate a radical again. Number 24, that's an absolute value equation. First thing you got to do is subtract 6 from both sides and then split it into a positive and negative equation. Number 25, determine whether the graphs of the equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, you don't know what the slopes are right away just from looking at this. Okay, what you can do is, again, you can write it into slope-intercept form. So you would subtract the x's from both sides and divide by the coefficient in front of the y and find out what the slopes are. If the slopes are parallel, that means the slopes are the same. If they're perpendicular, that means they're opposite and reciprocal. If neither, then it's neither the same or opposite reciprocal. So example for parallel would be like the slope would be 2 and 2. For perpendicular, it would be like 3/2 and -2/3. And for neither, it would be neither of these cases. So it could be like, I don't know, 2 and 5.